Link to today's Nearpod is in the chat. Please go ahead and join. Let's go ahead, get started. We will review STAAR test questions from year 2013. We'll pick from where we left yesterday. We probably answered around 18 questions already. Remember, STAAR test will not be timed. Take as much time as you want. Do not finish soon and try to rush out of the room. Take your time, do your best. As you are going to be going into higher and higher grades, STAAR test results matter. Okay, we pick from question 20. Please join Nearpod so we can solve the questions together, receive some feedback from the teacher, and make it a productive session. So the question says, a total of 40 people made cakes for a bake sale. Each person made 3 cakes. Mrs. Sanchez found that 15% of these cakes were chocolate. How many chocolate cakes were made for the bake sale? Go ahead, get started. Show me how you will solve the question. Okay, my eyes are on your Nearpod slides to see. Landon, I'm about to give you feedback. Let me see. Very good, Landon. Excellent. I agree to you. Others, go ahead, solve this question. Show me how you will get to the answer. People, please join Nearpod so I can see your work and give you feedback. Please join Nearpod. Let me see how did the rest of you guys approach this question. Wyatt, I see you there, and I see that you're trying it out. Leonel, I see you here, but let's see how you want to solve the question. It is a good idea for us to figure out the total number of cakes that were baked. Let's find total number of cakes. Can someone guide us on how to find total number of cakes in this question? There are 40 people and each person will bake 3 cakes. How do you find total number of cakes? There are 40 people and each person will bake 3 cakes. Very good, Carmen. Very good. You do 40 times 3 and you know that 120 cakes were baked. So chocolate cakes, right, are 15%. 15% of the total, right? 15% of the total. And if I want to write it as a math statement, people, can you guide me on how to write down 15% as a decimal? I will change it into a math statement. Do you guys know how to put 15% as a decimal? I am waiting to hear. Wyatt, I agree to you. Carmen, I agree to you. Then I will put 15% as a decimal. It will be 0.15. Of represents multiplication and multiplied by total. Total is 120. Right? That's how you do 15% of a number. You change it to a decimal and then multiply it by the total. You will get an answer that is 18. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? That makes sense. Let's go ahead, move on. Welcome to class, Sheldon. And over here, They have given us a list of numbers, and the question is saying, which measure of data best describes how much these polling scores varied? So here the keyword they're using is varied. This word varied comes out of a word that is called vary, V-A-R-Y. It is not V-E-R-Y. Do you guys know what does this word vary mean? Do you guys know what is this word vary? It's not V-E, it is V-A-R-Y. Do you guys know what it means? You can use a dictionary and Google that out. Nicholas, join Nearpod and I want to see your work. I am waiting. Somebody will figure out the meaning and tell me what does the word vary mean. Because that will help you figure out. It means difference. Wyatt, excellent. Right? It means difference. How much is the variation, right? Or how much does something vary, right? How much does it change? So which of these help you find the difference? Which of these? Mean, median, mode, or range? Okay, here Carmen says vary means to differ in size, amount, degree, nature. Very good. Nicholas, at the end of the session, absolutely yes. Okay, hold on to that question. So here I see that Landon picked answer D that says range. Let's see what range helps us find. Okay, range. Landon, do you know how do you calculate range?
Yeah, you take the biggest number in the list and subtract it by the smallest number in the list.
Excellent. The maximum number, the biggest number, minus the smallest number or the minimum number. It is the difference. Range is the one that, very good, Nick. Range is the one that tells you difference. It tells you how much is the variation, right? And all sort of ranges, there are different kind of ranges we will learn in the upcoming units, interquartile range and this and that. In higher order math classes, you will learn even more variety of range. So it's always used to find variation. Okay, we will go ahead and move on to the next question. Here we have some numbers. It is called an expression. Okay, does someone know why they call this mathematical operation, set of mathematical operations, as an expression? Do you guys know why this is called an expression?
To express the problem. This is the first problem.
Nicholas, I really couldn't hear you. Classmates, were you able to hear him and understand what he's saying?
Oh, it's to express the equation or the problem.
To express a problem, very good. And it is called expression because it doesn't have an equal sign. It is called expression because it does not, I'm going to type in a not, it does not have an equal sign, right? That's why it is an expression. If it had an equal sign, then we call it equation. This is only an expression. Use order of operations. Go ahead, solve this expression and show me your work in Nearpod so I can give you feedback. Why it's showing me all the steps. Very good, Wyatt. Excellent. I agree to each and every step. Landon, excellent. Very good. Okay, here I see Paige got started. Very good, Paige. Sheldon, start solving the problem. Carmen, Leonel, start solving the problem. Which part of this expression will we solve first? Which part of this expression will we solve first? We will choose to solve exponents first. So what does this mean? Let's go ahead, write it out and see what does the 2 to the power of 3 mean. I'm going to write 2 to the power of 3 and I'm going to talk about what that means. It means 2 times 2 times 2. So multiply the 2 by itself 3 times. That is what it means. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Right? This is how much that is. I'm going to rewrite the expression, this expression, and replace the 2 to the power of 3 with 8. So now we have 12 plus 96 divided by 3 times 8 divided by 3. I didn't do divide by 3 yet. And then times 8. Are there any questions? Whenever you see an expression, exponents is the part that you should do first. And Sheldon, Carmen, reconsider. After that, let's see what operations do I see. I see adding, dividing, and multiplying. You will do dividing and multiplying next in the order that they show. I'm going to divide first because division operation shows up before multiplication operation. So you divide first. 96 divided by 3 is very compatible numbers. 9 divided by 3 is a 3. 6 divided by 3 is a 2. And I will bring down the rest of the equation. So it is 12 plus 32 times 8. When you have addition as well as multiplication going on, very important to note here, you will multiply before you add. That's how PEMDAS works, right? You will multiply these two, you end up getting something that looks like 256. Then you can add 12. I am going to pause here. Are there any questions? Paige, excellent. Sheldon, I agree to you. Carmen, I agree to you. So if I summarize the steps, definitely the answer turns out to be 268. If we summarize the steps on doing order of operation, let's go ahead, write them down. Step 1, you should do parentheses, right? They are like these, right? Parentheses. But if you don't have parentheses, we don't have parentheses in this question, then exponents, right? And we had an exponent 2 to the power of 3. I will write down just for reference so you remember what was exponent. Exponent was a small 3 on top of the 2. Then we have to do exponents. After we handle exponents, we will either multiply or divide. Whichever shows first, you do that one first. In this case, we have division before multiplication. So we divide it first and then we multiply. Right? Lastly, you will add or subtract. Depending on what shows first. If addition shows before subtraction, you will add first and then do subtraction. If subtraction shows first, you subtract before you add. So they go in order. If you want, you can take a picture of how you solve order of operations. It is important that you know how to do it. And we will go ahead and move on. Here is the next question. Mr. Atkinson has 5 whole 1/4 pounds of dry fish. He will put an equal amount of food into 3 containers. Right? Think about the words they are using so it tells you what operation to do. How much fish will be in each container? How much fish will be in each container? Go ahead, give it a try. Remember, my eyes are on your slides so I can give you feedback and direct you to the correct answer. And take your time. So you put in sufficient thinking. Lionel, I want to see your slide. Be active so I can see your work. Welcome to class, Lexi. Everybody, please join Nearpod. Link is available in the question and answer chat. Logan, Christian, please join. No problem, Logan, not too late. Here's the link. Please join so I can see your work and I can give you feedback so we can. Zion, join Nearpod quickly. Bella, Juan, Marvin. People, join Nearpod. Breezy, Faith, Alex, join Nearpod so I can see your work. Anthony, Jojo, Dimara. Even if I didn't call your name, everybody, please join Nearpod. I just can't be calling so many. I just called out a few from the list that I could see, visibly see. Everybody join Nearpod so I can see your work and give you feedback. Wyatt, I agree to you. Landon, I agree to you. So there's one answer that even before I start solving, I will take away. Okay, Faith, that also works. And Faith, you will like this question because you really want to practice these. Normally you are asking these kind of, so you will love this. So practice it so you can see, and match your work with ours. So there's one answer in the 4 answers that I will take away even before I start to solve. In fact, there are 2 answers that I will take away. So people, you do some color coding. Lexi, very good. Use some color coding and take away those 2 answers because I can clearly see what you're doing in your slides at the time. Take away those 2 that you think are clearly wrong answers that you will not consider. Paige, I agree to you. Logan, I agree to you. Very good. Very thoughtful. Landon, take away those 2. Wyatt, take away those 2 that very clearly are just so wrong. And as I look at your Nearpod, I see everybody who is in Nearpod. Sheldon, I agree to you. Everybody who is in Nearpod are following the correct operation. They know that we have 5 whole 1/4 and we want to put it into 3 equal containers. That means we want to divide this dry fish into 3 equal containers. So you are all trying to divide. 5 divided by 3, there is no way the answer is 8. No way the answer is 2 wholes because 6 times, if the answer is 2, then it is 6 divided by 3. This number is not 6. Right? So that leaves you with 2 of these. For some of us who want a little refresher on how to divide fractions, I can guide you. 3 wholes is the same as 3/1. Right? People, at this point or at any point during this building blocks, please feel free to ask me questions if you don't agree to something, if you do not understand, if you have point of confusions, because this is the session you're attending out of your personal time to learn something new. Then I will divide the two fractions, and to divide fractions, you will use a strategy called keep. Change this division sign to multiplication sign and flip. How do I flip 3 over 1? I make it into 1 over 3, right? That is how you flip it. Flip the numbers. The top number goes to the bottom, bottom goes to the top, you flip it, right? So 3 over 1 actually becomes 1 over 3. The division sign becomes multiplication sign. This first fraction I get to keep, but I will still make it into improper fractions, so it is easy for me to solve. I will make it into improper fraction. How? I multiply the denominator and whole number. 5 times 4, I get 20. Then I add 1, this one, right? I add this 1. I get 21. So this first fraction is 21, and the denominator is 4. 21 fourths. And after you have all this, you can multiply the two fractions, like how you always multiply, right? You will do 21 times 1, that gives you 21. Then you multiply the denominators. 4 times 3 is 12. Yes, and Sheldon, I agree to your answer. I agree to your answer. Lexi, I agree to your answer. Logan, I agree to your answer. Christian, very good, eliminating the two very incorrect answers. Carmen, I agree to you. Alex and Marvin, thank you for joining. People, make sure slides are active so I can see your work. So how many 12s go into 21? Only 1, right? With a remainder of how much when you take away the 12, right? When you take away the 12 from the numerator, how many is remaining? 9. 21 minus 12, 9, right? And 1 whole 9 twelfths. You get 1 whole 9 twelfths. But remember, you can simplify 1 whole 9 twelfths even more. How? They both go by 3's, and you can simplify by 3. So I will divide 9 by 3. I will also divide my 12 by 3. And this is how the simplified fraction will look like. The simplified fraction will then be 1 whole 3 over 4ths. And therefore answer choice B is the correct one. Let me know if there are questions. Yes, Sheldon, I received your message. Thank you for informing me. Here is the next question. Normally, I don't see STAAR test you guys in this way anymore, but I just put it in there so we can understand your number sense, right? It is a good practice. So I didn't want to delete this question because this STAAR test is from year 2013. This is a very old STAAR test. A lot of the standards, math 7th grade standards, changed over time. And this is no longer part of 7th grade curriculum anymore. But I wanted to keep it there because it is just a good practice. You want to order numbers from greatest to least. Remember, negative numbers are not big numbers. The more big negative, the more small its value. So you probably know, like answer choice F, no, because negative numbers not the big numbers. get started. They're the smallest numbers. And I'm going to be giving you feedback. And I see Landon and Wyatt answered the question already. I agree to you. Paige, reconsider. You know why, Paige? If there is a number 6, and then there is this fraction over here that's 7/3. What does 7/3 mean? 7/3 mean, I am thinking, how many 3's can go into 7? 2. With the remainder of 1. So this number is actually 2 whole 1/3. So, right? So 2 whole 1/3 is not greater than 6. Keep that in mind. No problem, Faith. That happens. Christian, I agree to you. Very good. Leonel, I want to see your response. Sheldon, you took away one right answer. Sheldon. Then let's go ahead and look at one more number so I can guide you. Then let's consider this number that is -5. Right? Let's consider -5. Is -5 greater than 2? This number is 2 whole 1/3, right? -5 is a small number. It is even smaller than 0. It is not big. Lexi, reconsider. Lexi, the question says greatest, like big numbers. Start from biggest. If you start from -5, your order is exactly correct. When I look at answer choice A, they did least to greatest. But this is not what the question is asking. This is not what the question is asking. Right, Lexi? Let's see how you guys want to reconsider. If there are certain numbers that are confusing, let me know. And I'm going to keep guiding you. No problem, Lexi. That happens. There you go. Got it right. And remember, on a STAAR test, several times they're testing your reading skills. They're going out of way to ask somebody to do greatest to least, whereas human brain is tuned to find least to greatest in normal situations. They try to trick your human brain's natural instinct to order the numbers from least to greatest, right? And if you look at it carefully, J is the correct answer. -5 being the smallest number, it is even smaller than 0. Then 6 being the biggest number. Then 7/3 being a number that is like 2 1/3. So 2 1/3 is bigger than 2. And 2 is bigger than a quarter. So it looks like a good order. Are there any questions? All of those who are practicing in the Nearpub with me and receiving those good feedback, remember, you are doing the right thing, and this is how you will help yourself improve your math skills lifelong. We are making this time more productive in this way. The other people who are investing their precious time, not solving, remember, math is not something you can learn by just watching somebody solve for you. So this is not how you will learn. You have to practice solving. And then I give you enough time. I don't disclose the answer so fast, so you have sufficient time to get to the answer. Then compare your answer with what we got. Let's go ahead, move on. So here is a data analysis question. Do you guys know what this organizer, this um, information organizer is called? Dimara, that works. What is this picture called? You seen this before? What do you guys call this? That you see the scoring results. You call it a graph? Yes, Dimara, you call it a graph. Why it calls it a bar graph? Yes, we call it a bar graph. Why we call it a bar graph? There are bars in it, right? There's some gray bars, and gray bars represent Lillian. And there is a key. Whenever you have bar graphs, and especially multiple, they will have key. And the gray one is Lillian. The black one is Naomi. Look at the question, but also look at the graph carefully. Right? So there are some points scored, game, and be in that mindset as you read the bar graph. Look at how Lillian and Naomi did. Very first game, Naomi did so much better. Naomi scored around. How much did Naomi score in this first game? Can someone read for me? How much did Naomi score in this first game? First game. Read carefully and tell me. How will you read this? Naomi score. How much? The black one. The gray one is quite readable, and I'm not asking about it, but I'm asking about Naomi. Game 1. I am waiting to receive a response from you guys. So in this first game, if I look at the black bar, it goes all the way up till 22. Is there anybody in the class that disagrees to 22? Or are they wondering how I got 22? 22 is right here in the middle of 24 and 20. And that's how I know it is 22. Then in game 2, Lillian did so well. Lillian scored 24. Naomi only scored 4. Game 3, Naomi did better, scored 16. Then game 4, Naomi did better and scored around, I would say, 14. Because again, this bar is in the middle, right between the 12 and the 16. The number between 12 and 16 is a number that is 14. Go ahead, read each and every statement carefully. Tell me which one is the right answer. This one is not hard. Landon, reconsider. Christian, reconsider. Wyatt, reconsider. Let me see if I even have the correct answer key for this. Wait, Landon, hold on, right? I'm gonna reconsider my own answer before I'm gonna verify with you and Wyatt and Christian and Lexi, right? So let's see. People, everybody, give it a thought. These kind of questions, you have to do a lot more work and analyze each and every answer choice carefully. see. Which answer seems to be best supported? Dion, D? What other answers do you have? They choose the fact total number of points scored by Lillian and Naomi in game 3, 16 and 12, 28, was 7 times the number of points scored by Lillian in game 2. But Lillian scored 24 in game 2, so 28 is not 7 times 24, Dion, right? So I can't say that this is supporting. I was just evaluating. No problem. Yeah, you gotta all read the questions. Let's see what the rest of you are gonna come up with. But Wyatt, we didn't agree to answer choice D. Sheldon, this is the answer that I have, Sheldon. Let's reconsider. In game 1, the number of points scored by Lillian was more than half the number of points scored by Naomi. That is not true. Right? In game 1, number of points scored by Lillian was more. No. B, total number of points scored by Lillian and Naomi in game 4. So I would say this is 14 and 8, that is 22 in game 4, was more than the number of points scored by Lillian in game 2. That is also not true. Is there even a true statement in here? Anybody figures out? Dion? C? Seems to be like no true statement. Then there might be an answer choice E that I am missing in here. But, well, so far I can't find the right answer. It doesn't seem, although they say best supported by the information. In game 4, the number of points scored by Naomi was 2 times the number of points scored by Lillian. I can say this is approximately, it is not 2 times, it is not twice, but still, because if you look at the bar size, still it isn't as bad. C isn't as bad as the other, so it is, I can still say a little bit better, right? Let's see, I wouldn't say fully I agree, because the black bar isn't twice as big, but yet 1.5 times as big. C still is not a very wrong answer, but I would say approximately you can still say go for with C. Approximately we can still go with C. The rest, they're so out of way. So it says best supported. So we can say best, that at least supports. Well, initially I maybe had mistaken in my answer key. The answer in my answer key said A, but no way A seems to be the right answer. On an assessment, these are all possibilities that you will face. Questions like these, the bar graphs, sometimes, right now, they say best supported. Other times they will say not supported. And they will trick you in all the different ways they can, right? Take some time. And I would say I wouldn't allocate a lot of think time at the same time. But I will solve the question, get an answer. After I solve 10 more questions, then with a fresh thought, I'm going to come back to this and look at it and see if I can find something better. So yeah, you will have some kind of reading questions in math like this one that did require some thinking cells from everybody's brain. And this question, I know you guys all love to see this question on my screen because this is what you guys have learned in class just recently. Remember, on a STAAR test, they don't give you formula as part of the question. This formula chart will be at the top. There's an icon and you click on it. The entire sheet will open up. Maybe tomorrow I will show you how the entire sheet looks like, and I grabbed in just the correct formula, right? Here it says Evelyn cut a wedge of cheese into the shape of a triangular prism like the one shown below. The shaded part represents one of the bases of the prism. A formula for the volume of triangular prism is volume equals area of base times height of the prism. Which equation can be used to find big B, right? Area of the shaded base, right? Go ahead, people, give it a thought. Let me see how you do on this problem. Give it a thought, people. Wyatt, I agree to you. Very good, very good. They just want, very good, Dion. I agree to you. Excellent. Let me tell you guys in the meanwhile, I know there are a few who already answered, and probably it also relates to you what I'm about to say. On a STAAR test, there are certain ratings. From my knowledge, there's at least 4 ratings. They're adding more details to it. I won't go into that. But if you feel you're good at math, yes, you pass STAAR test. But it's not only about passing. There are different categories of passing. There are people who are just meeting expectations, like meeting grade expectations. Then there are people who are just approaching. They're not meeting, they're just approaching. Then there are people who have mastery. So if you feel you're doing well in math, then there's even more on you, because there's a little difference between, mastery and then a little bit higher than the mastery and a little bit lower than the mastery is just meeting. You might just get one question wrong and get to meeting, whereas get just one question right and get to mastery. So your STAAR report can look much more beautiful with the mastery word in it, that you're mastering the subject area. So all these things matter, right? On a STAAR test, if you think you're good at math, still make sure you will check your work several times, so you end up getting some really good report, right? No problem. Here, Lexi, I agree to you. Page, the shaded part is a triangle. And this is a common mistake that a lot of people forget the half. You got a half base times height. Now reconsider your answer. Then you want to find area of base only, big B. Then remember, big B is just the triangle part. The big B is just the triangle part, and I will sketch it out. And remember, for a triangle, the base to height have to be in a right angle. And what numbers are connected to the triangular base? Use those numbers. I know that 6 and 5 are connected to the base with a right angle over here, right? So anything that doesn't have 6 and 5 are not right. Now see which one looks like a correct answer, right? There is no need to solve. Landon, you had the correct answer prior to selecting this. Whenever you find area for a triangle, you also have to divide by 2. Do base times height, divide by 2. Right? Andre, very good. Andre, you want to hop on the mic and talk about this problem?
So this one is so since it says we have to do 5 times 6, well, we see it's a triangle, and the formula of triangle, we have to divide it by 2. So that's how I found out that.
Very good, Andre. Very good. You see triangle, you got to divide by 2. And look carefully what numbers are around the triangle. Most of the time, they really like to confuse you by giving you a random number over here. For example, I'll just type in some random number. I'll just say 7. Okay. then yes, you can be confused. Now there are 3 numbers the triangle has. There's a 7, there's a 5, and there's a 6. But if I clearly know that the base to height have to be at a right angle, I know I'm going to pick 5 and 6 for the dimensions of the triangle. 7 will be there to trip me, to confuse me, but I'm not going to use 7. And we have seen in class there are questions, they gave you some extra information. In higher level math, they will teach you how to find this longer side of a right triangle. In higher, probably in grade 8, you will learn how to find this missing long side of the triangle. If you know that the 2 shorter sides are 5 and 6. So you've got a lot more to learn in math. Make sure that you excel at these basic things so upcoming math will become easier. This is how you have to go more faster next year because you're finding missing sides. Just knowing that 2 sides are 5 and 6. It's called Pythagorean theorem, but we won't cover it here. Maybe after STAAR test, if we have math sessions, I'm going to teach you some 8th grade math topics, so you are good to start with in 8th grade. This is an example of an equation because I see equal sign. So now you see an example of expression without equal sign, and you've seen an example of equation with equal sign. Also, I have noticed that now in the newer STAAR test, if they will give you a model, they will very likely not give you equation. They will very likely not give you equation. Nicholas, thank you for reminding. I totally forgot about your question. I'm going to be honest. But I am going to help you right after this question. Here are your answer choices. Dion already chose an answer and gave me the answer. And I have not taught you how to do this particular equation in my class. I have not taught you how to do this equation in my class because this equation has variables on both sides, like a x over here and there x on the other side. In my class, I only taught you how to do equations with x on one side, right? I never taught you. So Dion, at this time, I don't agree to you. People, even if I have not taught you this question, trust me, you have the tools to still answer this question on your own. Now I'm going to wait to see what strategies and what tools will you find from your mathematical toolbox and use your understanding of math operations still figure out the answer, although you haven't formally learned it in my class. So Sheldon, I'm assuming this is the wrong answer you took away because that is not the right answer. Perfectly fine, Landon. Yeah, absolutely, Landon. So people, if I want to figure out the value of x, right? X will take up a number value. Simply, I can try it out. I'm going to try maybe 4. Let's try 4. If I put a 4 here, what happens? I have 4 plus another 4, and this side is 8. Do you guys think that putting a 4 on the other side will make it balance? Think about it. Emiliano, very good. Do you think all these 4s that make 16 plus 2, 18, that works? Absolutely not. Doesn't work. In this way, trial and error will get you to the answer, right? You have not learned this, but you can use your tools to get to the answer still. I'm going to clear the 4s because that didn't work. and we can try some other number. Then try out some other number. If you are tired of trying, like how you can take away certain things from certain sides, I will take away one x from both. I will delete x from both sides. One x from both sides. Do you think the balance still stays balanced if I take away same thing from both sides? Yes, the balance still stays a good balance because I took away the same thing from both sides. Now, what do I have? I have here 4. I have here 4. I'm going to write down 4. On the other side, I have 2, right? I have 2. And how many x do I have? I got now only 3x. This is new topic you never learned. I will take away the 2 from both sides. Like in the picture, I will take away the 2 from both sides. I can do that, right? Still it will balance. And in the equation, this is how it will look like. Take away 2 from both sides. And you will be left with now 3x and this becomes a 0 and 2. Divide both sides by 3, so you have x by itself, right? You want x by itself, so you will do inverse operations. Right now it is 3 times x, 3x. Inverse of times is divide, so divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 here gives you 1. It is a 1, right? So now 1x equals 2/3. Good, Lexi. You could do the rest on your own. That is great. Adam, let me know, hop on the mic if any part was confusing. This is a new topic and you haven't learned it yet. This is a topic you will learn in 8th grade. Yes, Adam, 2/3. This is a topic you will learn in 8th grade. So you see how in 2013, this was a 7th grade topic. Now they moved it to 8th grade. They probably saw that students were struggling in this topic already. So they moved it to 8th grade. Now we don't do variables on both sides. We just have variable on one side. But definitely you can get rid of the variable and make it variable on one side too. But students struggled. Nick, type something in the chat to let me know you are here and you are listening. Okay, there you go. So Nick, let me know which, at this point, I will pause the recording for the STAAR